Hi, Lynnette. How are you?
Hi, Amanda. How are you? I'm good.
Great. So I am Amanda Melby with Raising Buchanan. I was one of the producers, and I am with Lynnette L.A. Brown. And let me stop that share so people can actually see your face now instead of,
Hi, everybody.
hi. And you're joining me from Texas, and I'm here in Arizona.
Austin, Texas. Yep.
And how's it going there?
We've been in the house for over a month. So, I mean, it's going.
Yeah. And you've got, a bunch of kids with you.
Yeah, I've got 4. So we're entertaining, we're homeschooling. I mean, it's not that bad though. You know, in Arizona, you've got outdoor stuff. You can go swimming. So, I mean, we're making the best of it.
Yeah, that's good. And it's not too hot yet, is it?
No, it's gonna get hotter, but between yesterday and the day before, we're hitting like 90s, and the humidity is ridiculous. So it's pretty hot.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yikes. Okay, so the movie came out today.
I know.
Yay. And you play Gretchen in it. And Gretchen is, well, why don't you tell us a little bit about the character?
Gretchen is, she's all business. She's a little bit sassy, and she knows that she's got to save her own butt in this situation. And she gives it to the girls straight up what the deal is. I mean, I don't want to give away too much because people are hopefully going to watch it today.
Right.
So, but she's sassy, no holds bar, and this is how it is. This is what I'm going to do for you. This is not what I'm going to do for you. And what you see is what you get.
Yeah, and I think the fun part about her character too is, she seems so no nonsense and like she's just a rule follower and all that. And then, when it comes down to it, she actually does care, right?
Yes, she does care. So, I mean, she does put herself out there, so much to help, but she does care.
Right. Yeah, that's cool. So you auditioned for us. Well, you and I knew each other. We've known each other for a long time
Right.
through the studio here, through Verve Studios. And so when you had moved to Texas, we were just really starting to get into pre-production on this. And so I knew that I wanted you to audition for it at least. And so you sent us in a tape, well, actually a couple tapes, huh? From Texas. Yeah. What was that? And that was, for those of you watching, that was back in 2017, where we were taping things back then, but it wasn't as prevalent as it is now. Like self-taping back in 2017 was, you had to figure everything out still, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So what was that like?
Then it was really daunting to try to figure out how, okay, I've got to do this audition. I'm here at home. I've got to figure out how to send in this tape. And you're absolutely right. It's weird because even just in this pandemic, I've sent in at least 2 or 3 auditions on tape, and it's just like second nature. And when I sat down and thought about this interview, and I was like, well, geez, I did that back in 2017. I had to figure out how to set up my home studio and do the audition and make sure the lighting was right and make sure the sound was right. So, I mean, I guess it kind of put me ahead of the curve, but I mean, it was different. I mean, it was a little bit nerve-wracking because you kind of worry about the technical stuff a little bit. Is it going to go through the megabytes? But, it's a different kind of nerve-wracking than walking into an audition room with people staring at you, yeah.
So how does that feel differently for you as an actor? You get that instant feedback when you're in a live audition with people compared to when you're taping yourself and sending it in. You have to, are you second guessing yourself? Are you doing it over again? Like, what's your process and how does that feel differently for you?
Yeah. So, when you're getting ready to go into an audition room and you're trying to put yourself into that space and creating that world before you walk into the room, you've got to block out a lot of the nerves that kind of come up with an audition. At home, you can kind of do it when you're feeling right. As long as it's in a timely fashion. The downside is that you can really second guess yourself quite a bit and do it 50 times. And after 50 times, it's less and less authentic, you know? So you can do it 50 times. You can go, oh, I don't like the way this looks. I don't like the way that looks. So honestly, what my process has been is if I do the work and I do the homework and I think about what I've got to do and I put myself in that situation, when it's done, and I can let it go.
Mm-hmm.
And it is what it is. And hopefully I've put my best foot forward and brought some truth to the character and the story. And then I just, you know, I let it be what it is. And if I'm right for it, if I'm the character, then I'll get it. But if someone else does, then happy for them.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
and with this one, you know, it was unusual in the sense that your audition and your callback were self-tapes.
Yes.
Right? I mean,
Yes.
for the rest of the people that lived here in town, some of them sent in self-tapes for their audition, but then we called them in person for their callbacks.
Yep.
Yeah. And so yours was actually both. So, you know, those of you that are out there that are, you know, wondering, do people actually get cast from their self-tapes? Yes, they do. Now, it did help, of course, that we knew your work and you know,
right.
knew that we were going to, you know, that you would be able to pull it off for sure. But definitely we cast you from your tape. Right?
Yeah, it can be done. And the callback was fun, actually. Mm-hmm. I really liked that. It was fun to play that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. So you came out for the premiere in Phoenix, and what was that like for you to watch yourself? You know, you came the actual premiere, right? The first night.
The first premiere I did.
Yeah. So that was a really big theater and a really big screen. Right. So what was that like for you to watch that?
You know, in the moment, it was just kind of surreal. I was just kind of sitting there watching everyone watch it and kind of trying to get a feel for if they enjoyed it, if they thought it was funny, if they thought the same parts that I thought was funny. You know, sitting there watching it, I hadn't seen it before. So I hadn't seen it edited and you know, color corrected and all the other things and what got cut and what got kept. So I was, you know, enjoying it as a moviegoer, all up until my part, of course. Then my part came in, I was kind of like, oh my gosh, I hope it looks good. But outside of that, I loved I was just so excited that I was a part of a film that was in this big theater in Arizona, which I lived in for 8 years. So I got to see a lot of familiar faces that were there to watch it. I mean, it was great. I mean, I'm glad I was able to make it out for it. It was awesome. Me too. Yeah, it was good that you were here for it.
So what happens in your head when your scene's coming up? Because you know where it is in the script.
Yeah.
Right? Like, yeah. Do you start to feel like, oh my gosh, here it is? Or, you know, what are you thinking when your part's about ready to come up for the first time?
For the first time, I'm like, okay, do I even want to watch it? I would love to close my eyes and not watch it. I'm one of those people. But yeah, I'm just kind of holding my breath and oh my gosh, here it is. Did it come off right? Did I do it authentically? But I will be honest with you, when you watch yourself in that kind of setting, in a theater, finished product, right prior to, you think it's all about you and how's my performance going to be. But honestly, I'm just most of the time really wowed at how it all comes together. Mm-hmm. The editing, the directing, the script, and the other actors on the screen. And after about 2 seconds or so, it's over with. I'm really just more of in the movie world, which is great. But up until then, it's like, okay, here it comes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how not with this film, because I was part of the editing process and saw it so many times, but any other time I have seen myself on the big screen in the theater, it's like, the heart starts to race and there's nothing you can do about it at that point.
Does that ever go away?
Yeah, I think so. Well, I hope so, but we'll have to do another one to find out.
Yeah. I mean, you get used to seeing yourself, but I always wonder if it's like when you're seeing it for the first time in the full film, I wonder how many times I have to watch a film with myself in it to be like, oh, it's gonna be fine,
Yeah, 100. I don't know. I don't really know. Yeah, I mean, your part is so funny in it too. You know, there's just so many great lines, and you're so deadpan that it's just funny. So I think people are really gonna like they're gonna like it. In fact, Joe is on with us, one of our other producers. He says, "Hey, LA." So
Hi.
that's.
Oh, I thought you was on. I was like, am I going to see him?
Oh, no, 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 sorry. No, so I was looking at, I'm looking at the Facebook feed.
Oh,
That,
I wish I
so
could see you.
I know. You know, that's the one thing we're gonna have to figure this whole thing out, right? Down the road to, I mean, I guess we could have him on the Zoom with us, but for
Yeah.
now he's watching on Facebook and he says, "Hey, LA."
Hi. Thank you for everything.
Yeah. So what was your favorite? You were on set with us, what, 2 days, 3 days?
Um, 3 days,
I
maybe?
think, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one day it was pretty easy. You were just in the car with
Yeah.
us. That
Yeah.
tiny little car. Oh my gosh, could that car have been any smaller?
Yeah, any smaller, and the noise, we had to do it a few times because I think we had a flyover or something. Wasn't there a plane that kept flying?
Yeah, that was yeah, we shot that in Paradise Valley, and I think it was close. I mean, it was close enough to the Scottsdale airport and the Phoenix airport that we had a couple of, you know, we were in a couple of flight paths, I think,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah, you know. Yeah, that was a tiny little car. So it always makes me laugh when we get to that scene. I'm like, what?
And the car's packed.
Yeah,
It's
right. A little bit like a clown car, you
yeah.
know, we're all kind of jammed in there, but it's fun. So what was your favorite day or favorite moment when you were on set with us?
Oh, warehouse day, I think. Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. Um, maybe just because the whole scene was set, and so from the rest of the script, even not being there on all the other shooting days, I could just, my imagination was just running wild with what creative things were happening in that space, and so that was my favorite day. I
Yeah.
liked it.
Well, and that was your big day too, right? I
That
mean,
was
there was,
a big day,
yeah.
yeah, and it was day one, so it's really exciting. As a matter of fact, now that I think I was sick. I think I might have been getting over a cold too, but it was, now that it's all coming back to me. But yeah, that was day one, so I was really excited to be there in the warehouse for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So that, I mean, that's your big scene, and then your character comes back a couple more times in a couple other scenes. But you know, for actors, you know, you have these 3 scenes to be in, right? And I guess you have the schedule ahead of time, so you know that at least the day before what you're shooting when. But you know, your big one's on the first day. What does that feel like? The first day on set to have all those lines on the very first day of shooting on a film.
You know, I like it that way.
Okay.
That way. Big day, big lines. There's a lot of work that has to go into it, and not that there's not work that doesn't have to go into the smaller scenes, but just logically. I mean, if you've got more to think about, more imagination to create for larger scenes, it's a lot more to think about, and you kind of feel like you're carrying the weight.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all eyes on you, and don't waste anybody's time, and get it done right. You don't have to do it too many times because you don't want to kind of, it's a lot of stuff that goes into it. So, I mean, it's a lot of anxiety building up, but I like it because as soon as I'm in it, you're in it, and then you're just in it to play, and you're living in the world, and what happens happens, and I really like that. And so then the next few days, it's, then you're with the family at that point. The cast and the crew become family, and you're there, and all the jitters kind of go away. But I think if that had been on the back end, still in the back of your mind, you're like, okay, I've got to make sure that I'm on point on my big day, because you just want to be courteous to the rest of your actors and the cast and the crew and everybody's time there. So
Yep.
yeah, I like
Yeah,
shooting.
I think that I like to do the big scenes first too and get them out of the way. Yeah, because then the big stuff's done and you can enjoy the
Yeah,
rest of the time a little bit more. Yeah. I don't remember how many takes we did. We did quite a few takes,
good.
but different angles. Oh,
Yeah.
and then Kathy had to leave us that day. Remember?
did. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kathy. So Kathy's daughter, she had to fly back to LA for some things with her family. And so she shot her scenes with us. And then we shot the reactions, remember? And then we came back to you. That's
Yes.
right. Yeah, I forgot about that. So
I
that's always an interesting thing, you know, to have to work around things.
to work around things out of sequential order and film
Mm-hmm.
world. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. We had a fun time.
I agree. It was a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
Yeah. And what are you working on now? And I mean, is it just family and quarantine?
No. No, which is funny because you're in quarantine and you think that it would be easier, but I feel like I've piled on a lot more. I mean, I'm still working out my acting muscles, so I'm still, you know, recording myself doing scenes just to keep my muscles chopped. I mean, to keep them sharp.
Mm-hmm.
Because the studio that I'm at now, I miss Verve so much.
Yeah.
But the studio that I'm at now, obviously we're not meeting. So that's just kind of transferred onto camera class, which is great. I mean, so I've really been doing that, reading a lot of scripts and analyzing and playing and using my imagination, keeping that sharp. As I said, I sent in at least 2 auditions for a stage here that I had to tape,
Oh, good.
send in since I've been gone, and really using the time to do kind of the business side of it, which can get hard to do when you're running around with kids and everything else. And so when I do find those moments of downtime, that's really what I'm working on, you know, perfecting my demo, seeing what else is out there to work on, kind of networking, you know.
What's the market like there?
You know, there's actually a few network shows that shoot out of Texas, and I mean, unfortunately, I haven't been on any yet, but hold tight. Yet, there's that.
Right.
So, but a lot of actors have told me that there's work, there's stage. I haven't found quite as many as I was able to find in Arizona, but I'm still getting to know people and kind of getting intertwined in that market, but it's starting to pick up, and so I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
Good.
What's a part you've always wanted to play, or what's a type you've always wanted to do? Like, what's something that's on your actor bucket list?
Oh wow, actor bucket list.
Sorry, I didn't tell you I was going to ask you that. I just thought of it.
No. That's a good one. I've always wanted to play like medical doctor.
Okay.
Yeah. Very professional in the medical field, and that could just be because I watch a lot of shows like that. That's what I like to watch. But yeah, I think that would be a role I've always wanted to play.
Did you ever have any interest in medicine or science or something, or just that type of character, like no nonsense, you know, busy?
I can't say I've ever had an interest in medical career. My mother was a nurse. I mean, okay. And she likes to say I always missed my calling, that I was supposed to do that because she did. So maybe that way, but maybe it's the no nonsense.
Are there any shows that are there that are medical?
I believe The Resident films here.
Oh, okay. Well, let's put that out there into the world then, huh?
Putting that out there into the world.
Yeah, let's figure that out for you. That'd be good. Yeah, you know, we don't have any series shooting here in Arizona, so unfortunately, but you know, we're close to LA and we're close to New Mexico.
We are close to LA and close to New Mexico.
Mm-hmm. And of course, there's not much happening right now anyway with quarantine.
I know. So hopefully after this, it'll just, I don't know, boom or something. But here, and I know a lot of people here go to Atlanta and New Orleans, and both of those places have tons of shows that are.
From Texas? People are flying?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I read Tyler Perry had an article in Deadline last week about, you know, his new studio and how they could open back up and house people on there, on the lot there post quarantine. I was like, oh my gosh, super cool. Yeah, go look that article up. It's really interesting. It's all preliminary, right? But it's his idea of I guess in his shows, he shoots them all so quickly anyway, you know, like 2.5 weeks for the whole season. So bring everybody in, test everybody. Basically everybody is quarantined, on the lot because they have housing there.
Well, you got to figure something out. And so be ahead of it, figure out what's going to work.
Yeah. I mean, it's not going to be back to normal once we do get back. That's for sure. It'll be different.
It'll be very different. Very different. So having done that for Raising Buchanan a few years ago, I'm like, okay, I think I can manage that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, we're hoping, you know, that since people are still home and watching content, that they're ready for a little comedy, you know?
I think they are, and I think they'll find this one funny.
I hope so. I hope so. Yeah. So Raising Buchanan's out today on VOD and streaming and DVD, Blu-ray. It's what do you guys have for your cable down there? It's on cable on demand too. Anyway, that's right.
On demand, is it Comcast?
Yeah, okay, so we're on Comcast. So if you click through, you know, on the on demand, you should be able to rent it on demand also on your cable provider, which is exciting. So yeah, so it's out now, and I encourage everybody to take a look at it and to watch the very funny Lynnette L.A. Brown as Gretchen, the shipping forewoman.
Yes.
So yeah, so you know, thank you for joining me. It's so nice to see you. And
really nice to see you. I miss you.
I know, and I'm very sincere about that. It's been a long time since I've seen your pretty face and talked to you in person. We text, but it's not the same.
It's not the same.
No.
So it is to see you.
Yeah. So I hope your babies are they're probably not babies anymore.
No, they're not. The youngest they're not babies. Yeah. They're growing up way too fast. I'm kind of clutching on to these days. I'm actually enjoying it, to be honest with you.
Oh, good. Yeah, good.
Not you.
Yeah. Well, my kids are in middle school, so they're pretty self-sufficient. They're holed up in their own rooms doing their Zoom homework and meetings. And
it's nap time here. It's the only reason someone hasn't charged through the door asking me for something.
Okay. Well, I would have been happy to see them. But it's good. Nap time is good. So yeah. Anyway, say hi to everybody and say hi to Levi and thank you for joining me today, and enjoy premiere day.
I know, I'm excited. You too.
All right. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks for watching.